Good afternoon, everyone. We'll go ahead and get started. I want to thank everyone for joining us this afternoon. We recently took an initiative live that brought in a new module into Atmos and specifically the accounts payable area. My name is Paul Puckett. I was the project manager on the initiative, and I have Becky Sheffield here with me, the AP manager, who helped us greatly during the project. We'll kind of walk through some of the job aids, open it up for Q&A, and just have an open forum from that standpoint. With that, I'll turn it over to Becky, and thanks everyone for joining.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks everyone for joining us this afternoon. We wanted to go ahead and touch base with everyone. We've been live on the project for about 2 weeks now, and we've seen some challenges, and of course you, the division and departments, have also experienced some challenges. So we wanted to go over some of those today, or go over all of those today, and then open it up at the end for you to ask your questions or your comments at any kind of issue or challenge that you've had. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. I'm looking at the user guide that's out there on the internet under financial user guides. It's called Mark View Scanning, and it just gives an explanation for all the changes that we've made with this new system. So the first thing is we're going to talk about is the handwritten routing instructions. Everyone, we're starting to see that people are starting to get their stickers and send those in. So we continue to encourage you, if you haven't, to go ahead and get those. Anytime you would handwrite routing, like your name or the cost center, you want to replace that now with stickers. We've given you the details, the guidelines of which stickers to use. We want you to use the Avery 5160 and then the Calibri 18 font. If you are routing it to a specific employee, you want to write route to and then your name as it appears in Atmos People, excluding any middle initials or any names in parentheses. So you just want to use the, for instance, my name in Atmos People is Becky A. Rebecca Sheffield, or it may have the last name first, but I'm going to put route to Rebecca Sheffield. I'm going to take the middle initial off and the name that's in parentheses, and you'll put it with first name and then last name. If you're going to use a cost center, then you just need to put the cost center, 1120, or whatever the cost center is that you would like those to be routed to. Some of the things we're seeing that's coming in is people are placing the stickers over information that's at the top of the invoice. So we want to make sure that we put it in a blank area where we do not cover up anything. We're noticing that some of the names are not being recognized in the new KTM system because it's too close to other things at the top of the invoice. So if it runs together, then it doesn't know what name to pick up. So for example, if I was to put my sticker route to Rebecca Sheffield next to the invoice number and it all runs together, then it's not going to know where to pick up that name. So make sure you have it kind of off in the center, like I've listed here on the user guide. On the Boardwalk invoice, we have it in the center, the top, in the center, off to the right a little bit in that open area, so that it's not next to anything. Another couple other things that we're seeing is people are still handwriting, so make sure you get those stickers and put those in. We'll go ahead and process the invoices if you've got a handwritten cost center or name, but the system will never learn it and will never be trained if we don't have those stickers. So please make sure that you get those stickers and replace your handwritten routing instructions. The next thing that was changed was the wire markup. We haven't really had any problems with that. If we do send you an invoice that is paid by wire, you want to make sure that you place the wire markup on it for it to go on to Treasury. It will give you an error message if you do not. So we haven't really had any issues with that or very many questions about that. So I think everybody is doing that. The next thing is the scan to disk or the scan to folder option that's on the multifunctional printers. We do understand that some of you do not have a multifunctional printer, so you will continue to fax, and that's fine, and we've listed the fax numbers there as well. If you do have a scan to folder option on your multifunctional printer and it is not set up, you need to fill out a security request, or you need to call the help desk or the service desk to get that set up. We do have noticed that a few printers were missed. We had over 400 printers that needed to be set up, so a couple of them did get missed. So let's go over the scan to folder a little bit. We have seen a few issues with that. Want to make sure that you still print a barcode and put a barcode in between each invoice when you're going to scan it or fax it. We have noticed that several invoices are coming in without a barcode, so it's causing a delay in us getting those invoices processed. Also, some are using the wrong button. So, for example, if you're wanting to send in an AP invoice, you need to select the button that says AP, I think it's, it says AP dash invoice dash and then your division. So for me it would be 10, and then for Louisiana it would be 20, and West Texas 30, and so forth. So you should have 4 buttons when you click your scan and then folder. So make sure you are selecting the right button. We've seen some expense reports come to the invoice scan button. We've seen invoices go into the expense reports. We've seen P cards and follow-ups come into the invoices. And so we're having to sort through all of that and redirect all of that. So that has taken some time and part of the reason why there's been a delay in processing invoices. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact your AP person or me. And I'm going to go ahead and give you the list of the AP contacts for each division if you don't have that. So for shared services or CSO, you're going to contact Tracy Glover. For Division 20, Louisiana, you're going to contact Kanya Harris Carter. For Division 30, West Texas, you'll contact Rachel Durham. For Division 50, Mid-States, you will contact Aaliyah Abubakar or Janie Camacho. For Division 60, Colorado, Kansas, you'll contact Sandy Wolford. For Mississippi, Seha Tesfaye. For Mid-Tex Pipeline, you've got Kelly Williams, Bill Tucker, or Carolyn Stanglin. And 212, or Atmos Energy Marketing, Atmos Energy Holdings, or any subsidiary of that would be Kanya Harris Carter. And of course you can contact me at any time if you're not able to reach any of them, and we'll be more than happy to walk you through how to do the scan and just make sure that you're selecting the right button. So that's kind of what we've seen with the scan, is that barcodes aren't coming in and people are using the wrong button. So make sure that you're printing the appropriate barcode and sending those in through the right button. If you don't have a multifunctional printer, you can still fax. So we've listed the fax numbers. There was a error on the user guide when we first submitted it, but we've since updated that. So if you'll go out to the internet and print a user guide, we've got the updated numbers. I think Mid-Tex Pipeline, there was some numbers transposed, and the expense report AP follow-up and P card number had an error on it, so we've since corrected that. One thing to remember is you no longer can use the email addresses that were programmed into your printer, which was uncategorized, and the expense report emails, those are no longer supported. You need to either scan to folder or fax. If you have a check request, you need to send those to accountspayable@atmosenergy.com. We have had some confusion with that as well. The reason that we ask for those to be sent to the accounts payable inbox is that a lot of check requests are special handled, and the KTM system right now can't determine a special handling and where it goes. So we've just been handling that the old way and running those through the old system and how we used to process invoices, so that we can make sure that those get special handled and given to the right person. Some of you have asked if you can just print them off and inter-office them to us. You can do that. You don't have to. We were just trying to make it easier for everyone if you want to just scan them to yourself and then email them to the accounts payable inbox. Or you can print them off and deliver them to us, or you can inter-office them to us. We just don't want you scanning or faxing those in like the other AP invoices, because they're not capable. It's not capable of reading the information off of those. That is pretty much it as far as the things that we've seen out, that we've seen here from the field. Now I just want to open it up to, one more thing I want to show y'all is the W drive. I sent an email out a few minutes ago and asked the divisions, the financial analysts, and the directors to pass them down to their departments. But we've got a W drive that if you're utilizing the scan to folder, we've had people ask us, how do we know that the scan goes through? We do not get a confirmation. There is a drive located, it's the W drive, and it's under COFAX scan. Okay, it's W COFAX _scans, and under that directory there is each division. So it would be for Company 10, it would be 10, 20, 30, so there's one for each division, and then there's another one listed as expense report. The expense report one is where you would look for any P card or expense report or a follow-up document that you scanned in. You can sort by date and time and find the time that you scanned it in, and if it's located in that directory, then that means we received it. That would be your confirmation that it did come in to KTM. So you would click on the 010 if you were Company 10, and under Archive is where it's listed. And then for P cards, expense reports, and follow-up documents, you would look under the expense report under the W COFAX scan drive. So that is in read-only access, so you can find those documents. And if you do not have access to that drive, you can submit a security request requesting that, and they can set that up for you so that you can view your documents to see if everything went through okay. We were backlogged a little bit when it was getting ready for close, but we've since caught up, and so all the invoices should be in your inbox. If you are missing any, please notify your AP contact and let them know what invoice you're missing. It is taking us, was taking us about 3 days, but we've since been caught up, so every week it's going to get faster and faster, so I would say still give us 1 day, 1 to 2 days. Eventually it will be processed in the same day, and sometimes within the hour. So just give us a little bit of time to get familiar with the system and get used to it, and then those invoices will be coming into your inbox a lot quicker. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and open it up for questions. If you want to type your question, and we'll answer that for you. If you have any comments or questions about anything that's happened or anything that you're not familiar with, you can go ahead and do that now.
All right, got one.
Okay.
First question is, expense report failed when scanned and faxed both. Any suggestions from Margaret?
Okay, when you say failed, can you give us a little bit more information on that? Did the fax just not give you a confirmation? Did the scan error out? Like, what kind of information did you get when it failed?
supervisor got an email to resend.
That means it didn't read the barcode, so you might want to print another barcode that's more legible. Maybe the toner was too light or it was kind of blotchy. Usually when you get a message like that, that means that it couldn't read the barcode. I don't think it had anything to do with the scan, the way you scanned it or faxed it.
Next question we have is, if we're making a mistake on how we're sending the items, will you let us know so we can correct our process?
Are you referring to, like, if you're scanning to the wrong button? Will we notify you if you are scanning to the wrong button? Yes, we will contact you and let you know that you've sent it in through the wrong button, and let you know the way that you do need to send it.
Question we have is, I just checked the W drive and found the Kofax link. When I clicked on my division, I see a lot of PDF files with long strings of numbers. How do I know which one of these is my particular invoice?
From the date and time, if you faxed in or scanned in on 9/4 at 11:32, then that's going to be your file. You would open that up, and it should have your barcode with your name at the bottom and then all the documents behind it. So you're going to have to narrow it down to the date and time.
What is an example of an AP follow-up document?
An AP follow-up document is an item that we've already got the original invoice. We've already sent it through. You've approved it and coded it. And then you find that you needed to put a task request on the back of it or some additional documentation that was required after, then that would be an AP follow-up, and then you would print the appropriate barcode in MarkView and then scan it or fax it to the number listed or the button listed. And it attaches those additional documents to what's already out there.
Question we have is, I scanned 3 invoices in the MarkView Friday and was off until Wednesday. When I returned, the invoices were already coded and paid. How long are invoices allowed to sit in MarkView?
Invoices will sit in MarkView until they're coded and approved. We do periodically send emails out about every 15 days letting you know that that invoice is out there and has not been coded and approved, and that it's that it's awaiting payment and that we need to go ahead and get it approved so we can get it paid before it's late. If it's an invoice that has a PO, the PO is the requisition is routed for approval, and then when the invoice comes in, we match it, and then it goes on for payment. So it does not need an additional approval because the PO was approved.
Next question is, if you send multiple invoices with multiple barcodes, do they show up on a W drive as separate files or one big PDF?
If you put them all in at one time with the barcodes individual, all under one, it will all scan under one PDF. If you put it, if you place a barcode and an invoice in and scan it, and then it sends, and then you send another one, those are going to be individual PDFs.
The barcode signifies to the application that it's a different document coming in. So the PDF can have multiple invoices as long as that barcode's there to tell us that that invoice, the previous invoice, was done.
Yeah, if you've got a barcode that's the same, let's just say you're scanning invoices in for shared services, and you've got 10 invoices, and you put a barcode in between each 10, and they're all shared service, non-POs, those are all going to go in as one PDF. But if you've got an expense report in the middle, or a P card, or an AP follow-up, then those are going to be split out into the individual directories.
Next question is, since we're all scanning to you, can we send each invoice and barcode all at once, or do we need to dial scan for each invoice?
I'm not.
We'll follow up with you offline on that one and talk through what you're asking on that one.
Yeah, we need to get a little bit more information from you, so we'll contact you offline.
Can several invoices be sent in one scan if the barcode is in the front of each invoice to separate invoices?
Yes. As long as you have a barcode in front of it, you can place as many on that scan as will go through at one time.
I am in Louisiana, and I'm one of the offices that does not have a printer to send in P cards directly to the folder. I have been granted access to the Kofax folder and have been copying expense reports to that folder as I was instructed to. Do I scan P cards to the expense report folder as well?
Yes, P cards go in the expense report folder, AP follow-ups go in the expense report folder, and expense reports go in the expense report folder. And then AP invoices go in the W Kofax scan, and then the division number, invoices 10, invoices 20.
How long should we wait to see if an invoice is going to show up? I've been waiting for a few for about 3 days now.
On Friday, we were backlogged about 3 days. We worked over the weekend and got everything through August caught up. So if you are still not seeing that invoice, you need to contact your AP contact, because we should not, we're now working on invoices from the 2nd, so we're about 2 days now.
Next question, can you share again where the user guide is listed? I'll attach it to the email, that way you don't have to try to fish it out. I'll also send out the AP contacts broken down, as well as a recorded version of this webinar and the Q&A session to everyone on the distribution list for you all to review. This time, we don't have any additional questions, it looks like. And another one popped in. How are invoices mailed directly to AP handled?
Invoices that are mailed directly to us are treated the same way as before. If there are cost centers or names on those invoices, then that's where we're going to route them. We scan them here in our office. If there's any handwritten instructions, we do not replace them with a sticker. It's only if you get them and you send them in to us do we need the stickers.
give it a couple more seconds, see if there's any more questions. Oh, there we go. All right, they're plugging in now. I've emailed several check requests on August 27th, and I have not seen them in marked view to code.
I would contact your AP person if you have not seen those. We should have already sent those back to you.
Can you use the same barcode on different invoices if they are faxed separately?
As long as it's the same division and as long as it's the same document type, like non-PO, shared services. If it's for a different division, you've got to print a different barcode.
Scanned an invoice today, but do not see it listed out in the archive folder.
If you don't see it listed, then contact your AP person. But it should be in there. If the scan went through, then it should be in the folder. So just contact them and they'll get a copy from you and get it in there.
If you have your name and CC on the sticker, and the question answered itself, so no question on that one.
Okay.
But to follow up on that, same subject, which is preferred, the name or the CC?
It's going to depend on how you want that routed, because some people are not owners of a cost center, but they want the invoices sent to them. So if you are not an owner of the cost center, but you want that invoice routed to you, you need to put your name. If you're the owner of the cost center or you want the person that is the owner of the cost center to get that invoice, you're going to put the cost center.
Next question is, a vendor said they emailed an invoice a couple of weeks ago. I have not seen the invoice. Should they resubmit it?
Contact your AP person before you resubmit. And that's one thing I wanted to add. We probably saw 4 or 5 copies of the same invoice coming in just because, you know, you hadn't seen it, so you resubmitted. Always contact your AP person first before you resubmit anything. They could be working on it. There could be some reason why it hasn't come through to you yet, so please contact them first before you send it again. And also give them about 1 day to respond back to you. We are getting flooded with a lot of calls right now, so just give them a little bit of time. You can either email them or call them and just give them, 24 hours. Once, the next couple of weeks, things will start happening a lot quicker, so it shouldn't probably take them 24 hours to call you back, but I would say for now, give them about 24 hours to give you a call back.
Next question is, I code and the supervisor approves every invoice before the invoice is scanned. Am I the only one that codes the invoice? Do I need a label on each of the invoice?
No, not for coding. You put the coding on the invoice, we're still going to route it for you to code it. You can still write the coding on there if you want to, but that really doesn't do, we don't code the invoices, so that's fine if you still want to do that.
Why am I not getting other employees' invoices that was their labels on it in my marked view inbox?
There could be something on that invoice that designates it to you. If you could send me an example, I can look into that for you.
All right, that's all the questions we've got, so we'll go ahead and wrap up. I appreciate everyone joining us, and I will be sending out a recorded version of the webinar as well as several other documents to the email distribution lists on the invite. Appreciate everyone joining us today.
Also, I wanted to add, if you have any additional questions that you didn't get in, just send those to me or send them to your AP contact, and we'll get to those as soon as we can and get you an answer. Thank you.